Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Well,
Not just why are you doing it to train for the CDC, but why are you doing it?
I love through hiking. I love meeting new people.
So you can tell me a little bit about what your documentary is about.
Yeah.
My name's Brian. I'm a YouTuber, and during the summer, I'm an Appalachian Trail shuttle driver, operating near the town of Port Clinton, Pennsylvania, through which the Appalachian Trail runs through. I've been shuttling hikers for 5 years, and now I'm going to turn the camera on while they're in the car and ask them simply, why are you doing this? Why are you hiking the Appalachian Trail? These are some of the people I met and what they had to say.
It's every year someone attempts to do excuse me. This is something else I've learned. We got our checklist. We got our phones.
Yep.
Wallets.
Yep.
Yep.
Earbuds.
Don't need them.
Okay.
I got
Our
this.
poles in there.
Yep.
And that always happens. I don't know if it's something up with the Kia Niro or I have to use different cars and figure out if something about twisting the seatbelts is something that happens with. I've noticed with hikers, they tend to get tangled up in seatbelts.
This one just doesn't go in.
You're using the center. You're trying to buckle the center belt. Is this? Are you a thru-hiker?
I am a thru-hiker. Yes, I took 6 months off.
So you got to Pennsylvania in April. You're going. When did you start?
No, I started in April at Harper's Ferry. This is a flip-flop.
Oh, good move. The tagline I want to use for the interviews is called "Why are you doing this?" Because when I tell people, I pick up shuttle or hikers, and people ask, well, why do they do that?
Yeah.
And I don't have an answer. So if you were to answer that, why are you doing this? What would you say?
Well, the slightly tongue-in-cheek answer is because it's there. I like walking, and but I suppose there's a deeper thing. You know, I started doing long-distance hiking about 10 years ago with a Camino de Santiago.
Okay.
And that's 500 miles.
That's Spain?
In Spain, yeah. Being out on the trail alone with your thoughts for day after day after day, and something eventually happens in your brain, something changes.
What would you say that changes?
I don't know. Again, the immediate answer would have been like 10 years ago, the answer was, I discovered I liked walking.
Uh-huh.
But I think something substantial changes in your being, in your how you see life. It's very difficult to put your finger on on why.
Can you recall a time or a moment where you felt whatever this change is happening to you?
I think when you're walking, like the Camino is like a 3 sections. Is like something changes. Initially, you deal with the physicality of it, and I think I'm in that stage here on the AT too. We're struggling with coming to terms with the terrain, the daily routines, and that's becoming easier as time goes on. But the second section, you maybe hit a stage where you're just alone with your thoughts. On the Spanish Camino, that's the Meseta. It's a high level, relatively flat area, which most people find boring. And I think that's when the change occurred to me. It's like, I loved it. And some people skip it because they can't stand the monotony of daily straight level walking.
Well, from someone from Pennsylvania, the idea of a nice flat trail where you can look around is nice.
Yeah.
Here you look at your feet because where's the next?
That's all I see is my feet to try and stop me from falling over.
Yeah.
Which I do from time to time. For the first time, it became possible in my mind to do it. I always thought, no, it's impossible.
What about it? What about the AT originally seemed impossible to you?
It's more a case of getting 6 months off and affording it. Being here, seeing the trees change, being in the valleys here and seeing how the colors are starting to come in. It's so beautiful.
Massachusetts, Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. When you hit that in the fall, their leaves are so much brighter than there is here, and I have no idea why it is. They just it's like a photograph. They tend to just up the saturation big time. It's exciting to look at.
Yeah. I'm obviously heading north with spring. Like spring is coming with me.
Yeah.
It will overtake me at some stage. But I'm looking forward to hitting the south in the fall. I'll hopefully be moving a little bit faster by then.
Yeah, that's going to be nice. You're going to hit Maine in the summertime, so you're not going to have to get your winter gear back out like most of the northbounders who hit it in September to try to get to Katahdin before it closes, and then it's just cold again.
I suppose the Smokies will be chilly in the late summer, early spring, early fall.
Get into elevation. The Smokies are gorgeous. Yeah. I never hiked there. I drove through there, and it's like a child painted them.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, nothing holds a candle to New Zealand. That was bizarre. That was like, oh, okay, yes, I know the movies were filmed here, but it's like, oh, they weren't kidding.
Yeah.
Down there, there's no snakes, there's no bears, there's no anything. You can just take it easy.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
you see any rattlers yet?
No, I'm a little bit disappointed. We're almost finished with Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
What's 70 odd miles left? Mm-hmm. And I suppose it's a bit early and it's a bit cool still.
Yeah.
To see, we saw one black snake that was pretending to be a rattler.
Yeah.
It was a harmless, probably a rat snake or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that was exciting.
They do that thing where they shake their tail against a rock or something like that?
Yeah, he was doing that. Yeah. George was walking in front and he saw him. Mm. And we watched him for a bit, but then he slithered off very quickly. I am a little bit, surprised at how little we've seen of wildlife. That even in the forest, like yesterday we were walking and it was deadly silent. So where are the birds? They were a little bit at dawn and then they disappeared. So it's not hugely.
Not really. They don't really get to making a lot of noise until June, late May, early June.
Yeah, we've seen some beautiful raptors flying and somebody said they were vultures. I'm not so sure about the bears, whether I look forward to seeing one of them, but from a safe distance.
You'll kick them out around here because they're not a nuisance. The little black bears, they'll hear you coming and they'll just run away. Occasionally you may get one that's a little bit braver that just sort of looks at you. Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
Why I'm doing the DHT. Not just why are you doing it to train for the CDT, but why are you doing it?
Why are you hiking?
Well, it's difficult. I like good challenges, and I think that motivates a lot of people just seeking out challenges. So that's kind of the big reason why I did it. Why I do it in this weather, in the cold, besides the scheduling and training issue, it's just a little bit quieter. And I think a lot of people also say that it's very hot and humid in Pennsylvania. Water's a challenge. I didn't face any of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think since Harper's Ferry though, every time I go into town, it's been cheesesteaks, burgers, pizza. So the only fresh fruit I've had is when I go to a supermarket. I buy blueberries, smoothie, usually because you just drink it. And a day hiker gave me an apple yesterday, so that was nice of her. That's another thing I love about the trail, it's day hikers.
What do you like about day hikers?
They just seem so happy, they always try to chat with you.
How can you tell the difference between a hiker and a homeless person?
It's kind of easy to just ask them questions. like they have a very vague idea of where things are, where they came from. So a day hiker can pinpoint like, oh, I came from this route, I'm going here, versus a homeless person is kind of like vague about their plans and stuff. And they're usually containers for holding water. I think hikers like smart water bottles and Nalgene's and stuff, but homeless people, they have kind of unconventional containers like rubbing alcohol, the vine. Yeah. This is it?
You're back on the trail.
Oh, wow.
Fort Clinton.
The drive back was so much faster than going there. Did we take a different way? Or?
Yeah, because it's very difficult to make that turn from this side of town because all the buildings block you.
Okay.
So I like it. It's honestly safer because every now and again there's an accident right there. People pulling out. Hey Pip, this is Brian Shuttle. How are you?
Hey Brian, how are you? Good.
Pretty good. I'm calling to pick up a hiker who claims to already have gotten a ride with you, and I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to get in for.
Okay. So I picked up these two hikers this morning at Bake Oven Knob. They parked their car. I dropped them at 183. I believe the one guy is kind of detoxing or going through withdrawal. His friend was telling me he's having a rough time. He was drinking a lot. He wanted to get him out on trail to see if he could feel better. I just don't think he's doing well and not up for a hike. I got a call a little while later telling them that he's not going to make it and he needs to go back. And I couldn't come grab him, so I tried a couple numbers. I gave him all your numbers. I told him I could come get him in a few hours, but that's as far as I know. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing. He was getting a little car sick in my car. I pulled over. He was fine. He made the trip with no problems. He's just not doing great. He shouldn't be out on trail, I guess.
All right. All righty. Well, thank you so much for that info.
Sure, no problem.
All right. I'll let you know how it goes.
All right.
Hopefully this goes well. I told the guy's friend that I will not be engaging in conversation. I don't particularly care to know this guy's background. Sounds like a bummer. And so this 40-minute ride we're about to go on is going to be done just listening to the radio.
What my story is and why he's been so. I did the hike over 3 years and finished in 2000. And I got back on the trail. I occasionally put a backpack on, but I haven't really gone out on any thru type hiking since I finished the AT. I love thru hiking. I love meeting new people. I love interaction with the shuttle drivers. Everything all around the trail. I tentatively am starting the PCT at the very bottom, beginning part of May.
What do you anticipate is going to be different on the PCT as opposed to the AT?
Longer water carries. So you got to get from point A to point B with longer water carries. More involved resupply points.
So in getting ready for the PCT, and maybe I'm answering my own question here, why did you choose one of the worst sections in Pennsylvania to redo?
Everything gets thrown at you. And so I think it's a better kind of training ground. The thing that I don't get is that Pennsylvania is rocky, but the whole AT is rocky. New Jersey has sections. The area, particularly around High Point and those areas, New York is some of the hardest trail, very rocky. It's a different type of rock in Pennsylvania to a certain extent. You know, you get these little rocks that go every different direction, and there's absolutely no place to put your foot other than a rock. So I do get it, but I don't understand why Pennsylvania gets such a rap. I do think that maybe while they're going through it, that's why you hear it, because you're picking them up and they're in the chits of it.
Yep.
But I try in my through hiking, when I know there's a hill or I know there's a thing, I try not to think about it too much. I try just to, and that's the way I approach rocks.
Good morning. I'm picking up a hiker named Mike from the Microtel and taking him to a hospital in Allentown, or rather, I think I'm taking him to a hotel next to the hospital. He has some sort of injury on one knee or both his knees. I won't be asking him directly about his injury. I'll only ask follow-up questions if it comes up in the car. Every year, a number of hikers end their hike because they get hurt, and Mike's the first one this year. It's often a very embarrassing thing for hikers to experience their body failing on them and this big plan of hiking coming to an end. So I'm at the Microtel, and we're going to go in and find him. So Mike, you are lashing, correct?
What?
Oh, long ass section hiker?
I'm on the AT to go as far as I can go. I'm not on any schedule. I don't have any end goals. I'm just enjoying.
Oh, okay. So where did you get on the trail? There were dirt, and there was rocks, and there was a gravel parking lot. You know that place.
Yeah, the halfway point.
Boiling Springs?
No.
Oh, that's halfway for PA.
Harper's Ferry.
There we go.
Harper.
I should have known that. So the theme of these sort of interviews is put very bluntly. Why are you doing this?
Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what it's not for me. It's not an adventure. I'm 72 years old, and I don't.
You look great. Wow.
I don't
look
need
better than my dad.
I don't need another adventure. It's not a do this because I'm 72 years old and I might be one of the older people out on the trail. I'm doing it to be alone, to get a sense of what being newly retired, to get a sense of what my next step in life is. My kids are grown and gone, and I retired, and I want to kind of discover what's next for me.
What do you feel is next?
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm out here. I'm a person of faith that puts a lot of stock in being led into the next ventures that the Lord would have for me. So not having had a clear picture of what that looked like before I retired, I just by faith took the step, knew I needed to get away from the work that I was doing into something new.
What was the work that you were doing?
I worked for Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, awesome.
I was doing urgent repairs for people who don't have a way to get their houses fixed.
What attracted you to working for Habitat for Humanity?
Well, I've been doing service work of one kind or another ever since I got out of business when I was in my late 20s. And I went overseas and worked for disadvantaged people overseas.
What sort of line of business were you in before Habitat?
Construction. I was learning trades. I was learning how to build. I was taking what I learned and applying it as I could in the overseas setting. Some would say it was a step down, but it introduced me to a whole different side of humanity that had a greater need for more than just the basics.
Right. When you first started working for Habitat for Humanity,
Vehicle on shoulder ahead.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder. What was your first impression for Habitat for Humanity? What can you recall your first job or assignment for them?
Well, I came into the organization in new construction, and that's what they're known for. The Jimmy Carter role model of building new houses for people who needed a hand up instead of a handout. Have organizational skills, administrative skills. Some would say some people skills to interact with people who may not want to talk to just anybody about their needs.
May not want to talk to anybody. What does that entail? What does that rather mean? That people who don't want to talk to people?
Well, as you get older, you become more infirm. Your body has a tendency to become dysfunctional in a lot of ways. You're not capable of doing what you could do when you were young. This all revolves around places like bathrooms and kitchens. And a woman doesn't want to tell a man, especially, for an instance, we did a lot of reconfiguring of bathrooms for handicap accessibility, leaking plumbing, floors that were falling in.
Floors that were falling in.
Yeah, leaks in roofs that are unattended to, and then eventually the rotting process starts from up on top and works its way down to the foundations. Lots of termite damage, water damage. And most of these people don't have any place else to go, otherwise they would. And I mentioned before that there's several generations living in the same house for one reason or another. And when there's that many mouths to feed, and somebody might be on oxygen, somebody be COPD or something like that, that's an ongoing illness, that it takes priority. And the house gets left unmaintained, and then it eventually becomes almost uninhabitable.
How do these people find Habitat for Humanity? I suppose what I should be asking is, how do they discover, or...
It's advertised in periodicals, newspapers, and local circulars in the county that we work in. And it's on a first-come, first-served basis, but it's also by need. And we particularly work with widows. We work with veterans that are singled out because of their situations. To your listeners, why is your job so important to us?
There's no Lyft or Uber out here in the mountains. I know that. It's kind of tough to get a ride.
Yeah.
I think you couldn't ask an Uber driver which hotels are hiker friendly.
Yeah.
And first to know what hiker friendly means. Have you seen cricket? Have you seen Bigfoot? Have you seen General Tao or Footlong or other hikers? I'm looking for someone. Have you come across them? Or I guess local knowledge, and also having hiked myself, like, what's the trail going to be like ahead? Do you know if the springs are running? So what's the deal with so-and-so caretaker? I've heard a few things like that. Some of the destinations a shuttle driver will be asked to go to that a Uber driver or Lyft driver wouldn't be able to figure out, are not on a map.
Sure.
We're going to go up a fire road. One time, I wish I still had my dual sport motorcycle, because occasionally I'll get someone up on a fire trail, like, I'm out of food, I'm out of water, can I pay you to go bring me something? And unfortunately now I don't have that, which means riding dirty on the DCR, Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, appropriately enough says police, they're technically police as well, be able to ride around the barricades and go up and meet someone up somewhere. Well, stuff like that.
I was thinking about this interview last night and what you might ask me. And one of the things that I thought of was the answer of what you offer to the hiking community is going to be as varied as the people who are on it. You have experienced hikers who know how to plan, who know how to read maps, who know how to do everything that hikers used to do 20, 30, 40 years ago, are not going to need you as much. They're more purist than they are taking advantage of some of the benefits, like I'm experienced right now. Years ago, where would a guy like me go to get what I need today? Well, you weren't around then.
You also have to carry quarters for or knock on someone's door. May I use your phone? Yeah,
that's exactly right. So your offering to the hiker community is going to be on a continuum that is not going to be the same for everybody, and yet you make yourself available to everybody, I think. I don't know.
Well, my cynophobia is a hindrance to people with hiking dogs. That's a medical term for fear of dogs.
Okay.
If someone comes with a nice, friendly golden retriever, that's fine. A Samoyed with those big, fluff ball, cloud-like dogs, I love those. But you come up with a German Shepherd, I'm like, you might as well be coming out with a revolver pointed at me. I'm like, I want nothing to do with that. Pit bulls, no. And then I've been bitten by hiking dogs. I had them fake lunge at me, in the car. And like, some of these people, and this is me ranting and getting on a soapbox, you haven't trained that dog, and you're asking to do this animal incredible feats, and then some of them are very, very protective of their owners, and now we're in an enclosed space. I suppose it would be easier for me, like with a dog, if we're in that taxi, the fake taxi, a crazy taxi. Now we're in a convertible. There's less claustrophobia. I'm not trapped with this animal that may do anything. So that I apologize to some people. Like, look, I don't do well with dogs.
Yeah. So. Well, your service, and you're part of the service community instead of selling a product that somebody can take and carry away with them. The service industry takes a different kind of person than other disciplines in our economy. This is my third time with you, or third experience with you.
Yeah, when I met you, you were coming through the door of Frank's barber shop, and I'm like, did you walk here from Orwigsburg?
Well, okay, there's a case in point.
Yeah.
I didn't know about you. But once I knew about you, I put it in the hopper of, okay, this is a potential asset to my walking the trail. I don't need him today, but I needed you the next day, unbeknownst to me. Unbeknownst to me. So things have worked out to where we're riding here together, of which I appreciate immensely.
Appreciate you.
But you're not the answer to everybody like me, because there are a lot of people out there hiking. The person that you're getting ready to take after you go back where you got me this morning.
Yeah, we're going back to Nala.
She's a whole lot more experienced and better qualified hiker than I am. And I would tell you, because I've hiked with her for a period of time. She might not look for help in the same way that I looked for help when I needed somebody to take me today. But as I learn more about hiking, especially on a trail like the AT,
use the right lane to turn right on Houseman Road.
I was not aware of all the offerings out there, and it's become, of course, more than just get on a trail and walk. I mean, there's a lot of organization involved. There's a lot of weather stuff that's involved. There's a lot of other stuff that only experience. I mean, you can read the books and take all the maps and everything, but once you get out and actually do it, do you start to see how complicated it can be?